Hi there, hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to another video. I got something different for you today. So here are 5 basketball shoes that are pretty good performers, but I'm sure some people have probably never even heard about some of these before. I mean, that's the point. It's gonna be a fun one, I think. And I would say these are more like unheard of. I'm not calling these underrated, no, because I feel like some Chinese brand hoop shoes, let's say, All Cities from Wade, Big 3 5.0 Quick Pro from 361 degrees. I even ranked that one as second place in my previous top 10 list. Those are gaining more and more popularity as we speak, so we're not going to include those. Now that I look at it, out of these 5 today, there's not a single one from a Chinese brand actually. At any time during the video, if you happen to have a pair that work really well for you, but you think a lot of people might not know about them, please feel free to share with us down in the comments. Also, let me know if you want to see a part 2. I mean, I can just go on about shoes like these. So if you enjoyed this one, be sure to drop a like on the video. I will greatly appreciate it. Consider subscribing if you haven't for more basketball shoe content just like this on a regular basis. Let's get started. So first one up, we're going deep in my cheap bag. We're going cheap. So this is a low top basketball shoe from DeCathlon. Me and my dad used to buy a lot of stuff from them. In the soccer group, we got all sorts of equipment and gears for really good prices. You know, Kipsta, right? I found these when I was just randomly in-store shopping. I'm gonna have to look up the name, sorry. Tarmak 500, something like that. But I'll put it on the screen. Yeah, this was a fantastic shoe to play in, man. They're very comfy, simple mesh upper. Low cut, toe box fuse covers quite a large area. Material actually conforms to all types of movements on the court really well. I bought it for less than 60 bucks Canadian, by the way. That's like 40 something USD. The value you get is insane. You know, when we get to this price range, this is where garbage starts to enter the mix. But here with these guys, they're not too cheap, supportive enough, no pinching or like a stuffed cardboard feeling anywhere. And it's got a little bit of cushion or bounce back in it too. Adding to everything that we just talked about, it has a save also that gives you decent traction performance too. This is also durable enough for outdoor use. Yes sir, I honestly don't think they look too cheap or flimsy either. Black and beige here with some tiny speckles on the midsole. So these DeCathlon basketball shoes, yeah, this came out of nowhere, I know. I loved it. After this pleasant experience, I am open to trying more of their newer products too. 100%. I believe they even did some NBA collabs. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know. All right, next one. Remember big baller brand, Triple B, anybody? Well, they didn't make a new shoe, but this one I bought about a year and a half ago when they were cleaning up some old stocks. This is the Z02 second signature shoe for Lonzo. First one, he even publicly criticized it himself during an interview. This one wasn't elite, but it was super fun to play in. I'll explain what I mean by that. First off, the core feel is amazing.
Very, very low to the ground, actually.
Cushion is kind of lacking, to be honest, but if you prefer something very low to the ground, this is a low top with a strap that fits perfectly into that category. They're pretty light, about 380 grams for US size 11. Minimal on feet, nice and cozy. They put some tumble leather on the upper near the logo. Buttery smooth in hand actually. Suede and mesh. 4-foot strap is kind of meaningless, but it doesn't hurt to have it. So these guys aren't cheap. You know, the whole LeVar thing. They gave it a price tag of 179 USD. When I bought this pair, it was like 110-ish. Material, I think, matches that price point. Traction was meh on this gum sole, but I have a thing for gum soles, not gonna lie. No squeak most of the times. They do pick up dust fairly quickly. However, no major issues getting to a hard stop. Lateral containment was fine too. Cushion, again, little to none. But once you step your feet inside, this is quite a comfortable wrap around your feet. Great to see Lonzo back on the court this season. He's been wearing Kobe's most of the times, like for a few years now. But as something unique that you definitely won't see any other people hooping in, this is not bad at all. 8 out of 10. That's the ratio of people who will come asking you about them. I was pretty impressed by how these guys did for me. Mainly the step-in comfort and core feel. Just don't expect elite traction or excellent cushion, no. And this is one of the best looking silhouettes in recent memory to me, personally. I somehow really dig this overall shape and design. Now here I have the best performer out of these 5 today. Last year in my final top 10 list, these guys even made it as one of the 10 best shoes I've worn all year, although people probably didn't care that much. And one Attack 3.0. This is an S-tier hoop shoe. Top-notch traction, cushion and bounciness surprised the hell out of me actually. Material comfort, stability, even support, you get everything while it is decently affordable. You can either cop from their site, US only I believe, or like they'd have shops on Amazon or eBay if I remember correctly. Yeah, very much unlike the first two that I just talked about. Those were just completely random but fun to use. These guys are actually really good across the board, objectively speaking. One of the highlights was lockdown. You don't have to worry about heel slippage at all. Pretty unique design around the collar there. The last eyelet goes down really low, so the laces circle around you one more time in a sense. I would describe it as a firm hold that secures your ankle, but it's also not too tight to a point where it becomes uncomfortable. Somewhat squeaky at times. Great against dust too. They were gripping really well on my usual dusty court. Compared to the previous two, the Attack 3.0 has significantly better cushion. Forefoot cushion is another highlight. It feels loaded underneath. A nice springiness and rocking motion on feet. Yeah, honestly, this will be my top recommendation. Whenever I think of less known shoes that you need to try, gotta give these a serious look. Okay, here's one from a brand that you've definitely heard of, but you might not know that they make basketball shoes. Well, you might have seen me trashing their first two models, but this is a new one from Skechers, the SKX Nexus. Sizing, I strongly recommend going down a half size for the best fit. So I'm normally a size 10.5 in most other sneakers. Skechers hoop shoes, I needed a 10 for sure. They signed Joel Embiid, Julius Randle, who just hit a game-winning buzzer beater against the Suns tonight as I'm making this video, and Terrence Mann from the Clippers. Last year, they came out with two models as their first ever basketball shoes, the SKX Wrestle Grip and SKX Float. One was extremely comfortable, the other one was super bouncy, but both of them had no traction, zero grip. Like, I give it a 3 out of 10 for their traction performance. That was terrible and unfortunate because they were comfy. Traction is the most important performance aspect to a lot of players, and they couldn't even get that right with the Goodyear rubber. Plus, it had a nasty price tag, 150 US dollars or 230 Canadian dollars here. But this time around, everything was so much better. They got cheaper. This is now $100 instead of 150. Most importantly, traction was so much better. They added deeper grooves onto the bottom. Grippy, durable, and safe to play in, I can finally say. Loud and squeaky too, this also. The colorways they made, no comment. I mean, everything is very Skechers-like, let's put it that way. You get some decent feedback from the midsole. Nice heel compression there, so landings are safe. The shoe's a little bit stiff initially, but breaks in nicely over time. My mom's favorite brand, maybe ever. She loves Skechers for casual wear. For something comfortable, breathable, lightweight, usable, and thank goodness affordable, I would recommend the SKX Nexus. Yes, they figured it out. Huge improvement. I have one more to go. This one definitely isn't from an off-brand, Under Armour. When you think of Under Armour, you probably think about the Currys first, then the Curry budget lines, maybe even the Spawn series. But this is basically a Curry shoe that tends to go on more delicious sales. The Flow Future X3. The newest version is the 4. That's been out on their website for a while too. 3, in my opinion, is the best of the line. Again, feels just like a pair of Currys with their Flow also. Silent but super effective traction. For some reason, this version gripped a whole lot better for me than the previous version, the Future X2. On a dusty court, I was good to go too. Court feel is incredibly good. Running shoe-like, smooth transition, low to the ground, yes, and the upper is surprisingly supportive to hold your feet in position nicely, like hard cuts, twists and turns in all different directions. Perhaps the best feature on these is the collar design and upper stability. Super stretchy, nice and comfy, doesn't cause any pinching or rubbing issues. They placed these cross straps onto the front half as well, and torsional support was shockingly good. It's not a shoe that you can easily bend or fold in half. Very sturdy actually. So I put this one on here, 1, because I've never talked about it before. 2, I just thought these are extremely underrated. You've most likely heard about these but not the other 4. There's no reason to pass on it, especially if you can still find a pair for a great price and you'd like a more affordable, technically more supportive version of the Currys. And that about concludes it for this list today. 5 great basketball shoes to me. At the very least, they were genuine surprises given my low expectations. None of these are common choices, like the KDs, Jazz, Kobe's, Way of Wade. Those are obviously fantastic and popular. I would consider these shoes that people usually won't know about, but they turned out to be really fun to play in. Part 2, anyone, let me know in the comments. Also, please feel free to give us more recommendations of shoes this type as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.